So Rain leading 2-1 on the second takedown. And that's going to be a cut and score by Saffold. It's now 2-2 with 50 seconds to go in the second period. And Scott, while we're here, sorry to hear about your son Holden. Concussion Tuesday at the state duels and ends his high school wrestling career. And I'm sure
it was tough blow. He got concussed at the end of regulation in the state duels and couldn't get cleared in time for the conferences.
Three guys, I think, out with concussions this weekend. Dakota Kerr, I know for one, from Smyrna, he is out.
Yeah, I think he got a concussion at the same duel.
Yeah. So, Tuesday night was actually a little Henlopen Conference tournament premiere, as all the finals were Henlopen Conference teams. 8 of the 12 teams at the duels were from the Henlopen Conference, so shows how brutal this tournament can be. And we got a little preview of it on Tuesday night. So we go 2 minutes to go. Rain takes bottom position, tied up at 2. He's got the only takedown in this match. 2 freshmen, Scott, looking to take on the winner of the Mike Primo, Isaac O'Neill match. Primo, the number 1 seed, ranked number 2 in the state at 106 pounds. And we're still waiting on that's still on a consolation match over on mat 1. Again, mat 1 is in your upper left-hand corner. Mat 2 in the lower right-hand corner. Saffold has a standing Merkel, needs to bring it to the mat before he gets a stalling call. He does, looking to roll it through.
Best to probably bail out in this situation. I don't think it's tight enough.
No.
He's going to...
Well, if nothing else, he can get a good ride out of it and get this thing to overtime. And we're going to get a stalemate with 1:31 to go.
I think that's a good call. No action there, no advancement.
And Rain rises to his feet. He's going to cut score 3-2. Will Rain. So here we go, folks. Takedown can win it. No stalling calls in the match so far, and 1:20 to go at 106 pounds. And getting ready to come up on mat number 1. The number 1 seed, number 2 ranked in the state, Mike Primo out of Cesar Rodney against Isaac O'Neill out of Delmar. Not a lot of Delmar guys in this semifinal. One of the smallest schools in the state down in the lower west corner of Sussex County. Sweep single attempt by Saffold, not there. Both wrestlers on the edge. We go out of bounds, 57 seconds to go in our first semifinal of the night. And semifinal action is now underway on mat number 1. Mike Primo in the yellow and Isaac O'Neill from Delmar in the orange. Folks, we're on 302 Sports. I'm Benny Mitchell. With me tonight, Scott Kammerer. On my cameras tonight, Kristen Mitchell and Tori Messick handling the camera for me today.
And Benny just shows the strength of the Henlopen. 2 of the 4 guys in the state are here. 3 the top 4.
You got Primo ranked number 1. Rain ranked number 3, and Saffold ranked number 4. "26 seconds to go. Saffold with a shot. Stuffed by Rain. Rain is tough to take down. He is a real good counter wrestler, pretty good speed. And they go out of bounds. 17 seconds left in the mat 2 semifinal, 106 pounds. Saffold hand fights in, underhook on the right side. Gets him to the edge, probably going to look to throw here. He does. Oh, and they call him out of bounds. Just as Saffold throws the over-under, the lat drop, it's called out of bounds.
Sometimes the slimmest of margins is the difference.
And Will Rain from Indian River advances with a 3-2 decision. And the Indians have a wrestler in the finals tonight.
That's why semis are so exciting. A lot on the line. Big match for both Rain and Saffold. Very upset freshman. He'll be back, though.
2 freshmen. So here we go at 113 pounds on mat number 2. Mat number 2 That's Robbie Rosser, the number 1 ranked 113-pounder in the state. And he's up against Gavin Manning, freshman out of Woodbridge. And Scott, we talked about it before, Robbie Rosser is on a mission this year.
Yeah, and most people in the state of Delaware know last year Robbie Rosser lost in the state finals to Anthony Caruso at 106 pounds. And he is wrestling with a fire in his belly. And everybody affected. And I think it looks like he chose to use it as a motivation. So he's really been wrestling great. He's been on a mission this year, and I think he's definitely the favorite in this match.
Rosser leads 4-2. 2 takedowns so far in the match. Primo up 2-0 on mat number 1 at 106 pounds. Primo's lone loss in the state this year came to Zach Spence, the number 1 ranked wrestler in Delaware from Slays-Annam. So they could very well meet next Saturday night in the state finals. And Primo scores. He's up 3-0. Rosser now built an 8-3 lead, cuts him, looking to score some more. He had a quick pin last night in the first round or in the quarterfinals, 23-second pin. Folks, this broadcast sponsored by Sodell Concepts. And Scott Kammer, my color guy today, is the CEO of Sodell Concepts. And Scott, at the end of tonight, we will name a Concept outstanding wrestler. Last year it was Anthony Fisher out of Dover. Robbie Rosser looking for the fall here in the first period. In the semifinals, he's going to get it. Robbie Rosser, 113 pounds. Scott, that's 2 first period pins in this tournament.
Yeah, and he made quick work of this match, and I think sometimes when you wrestle in tournaments, you have a scene, you're looking for some first period pins, and he definitely executed on that. They don't keep teams, so it's all about the individual, and it's all about having the best tournament, put yourself in the best position for finals. So here's a big match coming up. Anthony Caruso of Cape Henlopen against Cameron Hayes from Cesar Rodney. How many state championships on that mat right there?
3 of them.
3 of them?
3 of them.
So this is probably one of the marquee matchups of the semifinals. Hayes won the regular season match.
And folks, we are experiencing a little technical difficulty here as we'll be bringing you live out. We're on sound-wise, but
Caruso looking to avenge that loss is at 120 pounds semifinal. Cameron Hayes against Anthony Caruso. 0-0. A minute 40 left in the first period. Still on their feet. A little bit of hand fighting from both sides. Both wrestlers down low, like you see sometimes in the lighter weights. Kind of cautious right now. Not a lot of attacking. Haven't seen a shot yet in this match. On mat 1, a minute 47 left in the third. Primo up 5-0. Cesar Rodney wrestle over O'Neill of Delmar.
All right, back, folks. We're back. Got a little freeze there, but don't panic. Mat number 2, 120 pounds, 2-time state champ Cameron Hayes from Cesar Rodney in the yellow against returning state champ Anthony Caruso in the, I guess we'll call that like a silver blue, Scott.
Yeah, and this is really a match a lot of people have been looking forward to. 120 is stacked.
Yes,
it's stacked in the state of Delaware, and it's stacked in the Henlopen Conference.
Yeah, probably, I think, maybe one of the most competitive weights in the state.
Caruso in on the shot.
Gets the early takedown.
Shot on the whistle, low ankle. Goes behind Hayes to go up 2-0.
Granby roll by Hayes, comes out. He's got a low leg.
For 2.
And he gets the reversal, 2-2.
2 really high-level guys.
Right.
I mean, an excellent shot, excellent Granby. 17 seconds left. Caruso's looking to kind of funk here. Hayes looking to go behind.
Primo up 7-0 on mat number 1, looking to get some backs here.
Caruso with the switch. And the hip down, no points.
And got to run out of bounds. 2-2 at the end of 1 period at 120 pounds.
This match has a little bit different flavor than the regular season match. I think Hayes kind of dominated a little bit in that match. This one looks a little evenly paced.
Cape coach Chris Mattioni, what he's discussing over there. We got the clear takedown, clear reversal. I think he's wanting a second reversal there.
I think Mattioni's asking for clarification on the rule.
Right.
I'm sure it's a very polite conversation. Coach Rigby.
So polite Coach Rigby decided to join in.
Putting in his 2 cents. How? And the referee saw it a different way.
Yep. So here we go, 2-2. And looks like Hayes defers, and Caruso's going to take neutral. And overall, Matt, number 1, we have Yanni Morales of Sussex Central and Kevin Bound of Caesarati. 2 more ranked wrestlers here in Delaware. Bound ranked number 3, I believe 4 or 5.
Bound's 3 and Yanni Morales is 4, Benny.
Okay.
And you did the rankings, just so you know.
Yeah, yeah. Depends on which ones you have, to tell you the truth.
Oh, okay, good. And it's a lot of work and time. Trey and I were talking about that in the last match that you put in, and I was looking at your final rankings last year and the state placing. You were pretty close,
right.
Man. You were pretty close. Well, I have to take you right to AC after this.
There we go, absolutely. So 2-2, minute 15 to go at 120 pounds. Caruso and Hayes battle 2 state champs.
Yanni Morales.
Yanni Morales has Bound in a cradle. The winner of that match on mat number 1, they get Robbie Rosser from Milford.
Morales looks like he is the aggressor here today, Benny.
Right.
Up 5 for more and
the pin.
That's a surprise to me. That's a little bit of a surprise to me. The dominating fashion.
So Morales of Sussex Central, he advances to the conference finals.
He's got a fire in his eye. He looks like he's ready for Rosser. We'll see how that match goes.
Scott, Caruso he had choice in this period, took neutral with 30 seconds to go, hasn't taken advantage of it yet, which is going to give Hayes the final choice in the period. That put pressure on Caruso to try to get a takedown here in the last 20 seconds.
Yeah, and sometimes these matches are preludes to matches later on down the road, so he maybe took neutral as a strategy to see how that works against Hayes. I mean, to be honest, there's not a lot of good decisions to make against Hayes, really.
And a stalk on Hayes on the edge,
yeah.
3 seconds to go.
I mean, Hayes is really good on top. I mean, really, really good on top. Rigby's asking for another clarification here. Referee asked him to please sit down. That's a stalling call.
There you go. There we go.
There
3
we go.
seconds left in the period. Tries to shoot off the whistle. Not there. Hayes able to step back.
Hayes is going to take
Hayes
down.
Going to take bottom. And Caruso's going to put him up, give him the lead. 3-2.
So Caruso wants the rest of this match on his feet.
Overall, mat number 1 at 120 pounds. That's Nick Nattercola out of Smyrna, and Taekwon Joyner. They are 1-1 against each other this year.
Ben, it looks like Caruso really made some adjustments after their last match. He's pushing hard now. Hayes might get hit with another stalling call.
And he gets in on a switch
good
single.
shot.
And deep. Looking to switch up to 2.
That's a great shot. This switch situation here, right from the shot, we've been seeing this more and more.
Right.
Not so much in my heavyweight days do we do this.
I got to watch for the switch lift here. Hayes subs up, which is exactly what he has to do.
He's on the ankle. Oh. What's Caruso need to do here, Benny?
Right, he's got to get that leg free. It's going to be a stalemate. With that leg subbed under, you can't score there. Got the leg hooked in the back.
There's an unruly fan behind me yelling very loudly, Benny. We're going to have to ask him to sit down,
All
please.
right. I know that guy.
Yeah.
Minute 10 to go. Shot by Hayes. Reshot by Hayes. He's in on that leg.
A minute left at 120 pounds. Cameron Hayes up 3-2 over Anthony Caruso. 3 state titles on the mat right here.
Hayes looking for a low leg finish. With 49 seconds to go, I think he's got 2 legs. That's a takedown. Cameron Hayes, he goes up 5-2. That fan you hear, that's assistant coach Trey Mitchell from Caesar Rodney. Yes, he's related.
And he was coaching a big match earlier in the year against Dover.
Right.
He said it was a lot of stress, but
yes,
he's looking forward to more of that as the years go on, I'm sure.
26 seconds to go. Restart with Caruso on bottom. Yeah, the one thing I've noticed about Hayes throughout his career, Scott, is he's unflappable. You know, he got taken down early. It never phased him. You know, let's see how he finishes this 26 seconds. Switch attempt by Caruso.
20 seconds left here. And a lot of these set the tones for the next match. They're going to wrestle again, I'm sure.
And he breaks him down. Another switch attempt by leaving the arm behind, though, and Hayes is just staying on that elbow. And 1 second, and there you go. Cameron Hayes, he's going to a final, his third final at 120 pounds, the two-time state champ. Cameron Hayes with a 5-2 decision. And we're going to have, looks like possibly a team point here. I didn't quite see what happened there, Scott.
I think it was a verbal, something verbal maybe.
Cameron Hayes on to the finals.
Yeah, so Caruso with the early takedown and then Hayes with the reversal.
Well, like I said, Hayes he's unfazable. You know, he got taken down early, he got the reversal, and you notice he never shows emotion on the mat. Here we go, 126 pounds. Rashad Stratton out of Sussex Central in the yellow singlet, and he's up against Tyneek Sanders out of Dover. Stratton is another guy on a mission, but he's going to give up an early takedown.
Yeah, and Stratton's definitely wrestling better this year than I feel like he did last year. I think that he's in much better shape and
much more mature.
He got shook up a little bit there, that takedown, but let's see how he responds. I mean, he's a number 2 ranked guy in the state of Delaware at 126 pounds.
Nattercola leads 3-0 over Joyner with 1:08 to go in the second period.
You know, this is another marquee matchup over here at 120 pounds.
120 is deep. It is a deep weight class.
We also saw number 5, Tajon Knight is in the wrestlebacks, a 9th grader from Indian River.
Yeah, last night he got hit with the bright light, Scott. First time under the spotlight.
Yeah, so we're thinking 5 of the top 6 place winners.
And here comes Stratton. Dump. He got a pin like this the other night in the state duels. Now he's
that pin really ignited Sussex Central and drove them to their first.
Scott, he's like a shark in the water. He is going after this ball right now here in the semifinals at 126 pounds. Long time, middle of the mat. He's got the boots in. He's got him scissored up. Now he's jacking up the arm and kind of cut it off.
And here on mat 1 at 120 pounds, Nattercoler's up still 3-0 over Tyke Joyner at Dover. 20 seconds left in the second period. 2 great matches at 120 pounds, 4 really tough wrestlers. We'll probably see the loser of the Caruso match and the loser of this probably wrestle for third. That'll be another great match.
You could see Tajon Knight come back and wrestle for third.
I was thinking that same thing. I mean, he's a young kid. Sometimes when you get knocked out of the winner's bracket and you wrestle backs, you wrestle a little more relaxed. Yeah. Tajon Knight comes from a really strong wrestling family in the state of Delaware.
Stratton's cousin.
Also the Curry's cousin and the Drummond's cousin.
And exactly, Avante Drummond.
Yeah. Tyler became the 43rd Centennial Conference champion from McDaniel in Division III McDaniel College in Western Maryland. Trey Mitchell, also an alumni of that school.
Yep.
So we always love to see our Henlopen Conference wrestlers doing well on the next level. £120, Nattercoler on top, riding out Joyner. Joyner took bottom. Minute 40 left in the third period. Nattercoler up 3-0. And as far as the matchups go in the finals, Hayes has, I think, 2 victories over Nattercoler so far.
Yes.
And I think Hayes has 1 over Joyner.
And Stratton up 5-2. Looking for more here. A little modified funk there by Sanders.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. The success rate of the funk has gone dramatically. I think wrestlers, you know, it seems like the defense again is just a
absolutely thing. You know, like earlier in the year at Cesar Rodney, when knowing they had Cape early and knowing Cape has the propensity to funk, they stopped and they worked on funk defense. You know, going into the and you revisit it. Coming to the Henlopen Conference tournament, you revisit your funk defense. So
yeah, and one of the things I really like about wrestling is it's a chess match, and you wrestle, then you look at the tape, you make adjustments, right. And the good teams, the good coaches, the good kids make more and more adjustments.
One thing I know, one thing about funk is a great escape move. With funk defense, you can get pins out of good funk defense. Because you got that guy rolling over into a bad position.
Yeah, and we talk a lot of times about cleaning things up, so you wrestle a guy, you get funked a couple times, and you go to your coach and say, hey, I need to clean up my funk defense. And, that's why wrestling's a good metaphor for life. And as you work on your businesses, you work on your relationships, and you work on your schoolwork, and wrestling's just a really good way to translate how to solve problems and how to improve yourself into the real world.
Standing switch by Stratton.
To a lift.
And low leg Turk.
That's a grown man move right there, Benny. That's a grown man.
I was talking last week at the Division II state duels on air, and talking about my decisions in wrestling. It was going to be a one-year thing. Coach Phil Schulte, kept me interested, and an article about Phil Schulte. Wrestling was simply something I did because my friends were doing it. I didn't realize until a year after I graduated what I learned from the sport and how much I missed it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
so Natacola advances. We're going to have a Smyrna CR final at 120 pounds. Nick Natacola.
Yeah, I lost my college time to an All-American, and I thought I would be done with the sport, and that would be for me. And here 20-some-odd years later, still involved in the sport.
And even though Holden's out, still one more to go. And your younger son, Carson, wrestling for Beacon Middle.
Yeah, and wrestling, and my son Holden, he didn't end his career the way he wanted to end it. So I'm interested to see how he responds to that. And what his wrestling will be as he goes forward in his life.
On mat number 1 at 132 pounds. Caesar Rodney, a freshman, and he's up against Mac Northwest from Cape Henlopen, a senior. And Dean has 2 victories over Northwest this season. And Dean's been one of the talked about wrestlers in the state this year, the freshman who was afraid of nobody. And he's going to go single leg, double leg, takedown.
Stratton over here looking for a pin again, Benny. He's looking to finish things off.
Head up, heavy hips, and he'll get it.
He's looking to finish it off and move on to the finals. Jackson Dean with a takedown, goes up 2-0 over Max Northwest. Dean ranked 2nd in the state on the 302 sports rankings, and Northwest is ranked 4th.
But seeded number 1 here this weekend over returning state champ Greg Baum, who missed some weeks with an injury, and I guess the coaches in the Henlopen Conference said Dean deserves the number 1 seed.
Dean's really impressed me. He's not like many freshmen I've seen, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he is an attack wrestler. He is, he's a lot like Hayes. He doesn't get phased. And look at this, Stratton on mat number 2, looking for the fall. He's going to be up 10-4 when the points are awarded. And tilt attempt by Dean. Max Northwest looking to step over, and he's going to get the escape. And right back to the sweep single is Dean. Dumps him and almost took him to his back. So 4-1, Jackson Dean.
And this match was a little bit of a blowout in the duel, as we know, the people that saw that match. And Northwest is looking to make adjustments. And
I think they wrestled again back at Battle of the Beach, where they had a major decision by Dean.
I think he got majored in that. I believe he got teched in the duel.
Pinned in the duel.
Yeah, pinned.
And Jackson Dean, like we said, afraid of nobody. Do-nothing non-conference duel. He goes up and challenges the defending state champ at 138 pounds and gets a 5-0 win. So Rashad Stratton, he's going to his second final. He's the defending Henlopen Conference champion at the same weight. He was at 126 pounds last year. He wins 10-4 today. Rashad Stratton looking to repeat as a Henlopen Conference champion.
And speaking of Jackson Dean, Bubba, most great wrestlers, that's what they want. They want aren't as important as challenge yourself. And that's what Dean likes to do. And here's he's got 4-1, minute 46 left in the second period. Northwest has got to get out from bottom and get something working on his feet. His best position's top.
Well, I was talking to Jackson Dean's dad last night, and he said the one thing about Jackson is he hates to be scored on. He just really hates to be scored on. And Northwest has him in trouble here.
Norquist has him on his back.
With a minute 23 to go.
Going to pick up 5 points here. A minute 20 is a long time, but Dean fights off his back pretty well there. And I
trying to run a bar a little hard.
Yeah.
Got to make sure you're anchored to the far side. 6-6 over on one. And here we move to a Laurel wrestler in the semifinal, Scott. Something we haven't seen in several years. This is Wu Foscu out of Laurel, and he's up against Cole Sebastianelli, conference runner-up last year. And Jesse Glandon has got these kids excited about wrestling over Laurel.
I love that Laurel is wrestling so tough. And this kid, Wu, he's exciting. And let me tell you, he's not backing down. And he's in to win there. See if his skill matches his fire. But Cole Sebastianelli also.
And over on mat 1, Dean's able to come out. That should be a reversal. And he gets the reversal. 25 seconds to go. Dean leads 8-6. And they go out of bounds.
Dean, it doesn't look like he was too flat.
Nah, he fought off his back.
Yeah, he's fine.
Right back out.
Fine.
And a freshman at that, with that type of attitude.
Yeah, absolutely. 2, it's 0-0. Wu Fos. Is that the traditional spelling? Wu Fos?
Yeah, Wu Foscu.
Wu Foscu against Cole Sebastianelli.
And no score in that match. Foscu in the state duels pinned the Kyle McDonough was a state up last year, 2-time state runner-up. He pinned him and won Laurel the match over Sanford and put him in the semis.
And let me tell you, the Laurel fans and team went
absolutely nuts.
Absolutely nuts. And I have heard that Wu is a nickname.
Yeah, it's
not
Isaiah,
his given Christian name.
Yeah, it's Isaiah. Wrestled for me here and there a couple years with the Henlopen Hammers. And we're going to end the second period. And Norquist is going to go down, losing 8-6. 2 minutes on the clock.
Screaming for stalling already. 1 minute into the first period. Kind of a go-to thing for fans to yell.
Oh, absolutely.
Now in youth wrestling, it's usually they yell,
Squeeze.
"He choked me."
Yeah, he choked me.
He choked me.
Right.
That's something you get used to the more you
wrestle.
wrestle.
Dean be a little less aggressive on top here in this third period.
Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. I mean, that's a kind of a common thing. When you run that bar, you get a little high, you get a little slippery, you slide off right to your back. But yeah, it looks like he's staying back a little more, Benny, not quite being as aggressive. Minute 26 left.
Working that inside wrist. Nice tight waist.
Looks like Norquist made some adjustments, too. You know, he got teched and pinned in the last time they wrestled, and he's down by 2. Looking to escape, try and close the gap and make it within a takedown.
Out of bounds. Minute 9 to go on mat number 1.
Mat 2, Sebastianelli started down. Wu with locking hands.
Hands are on the mat. He's in control, so there's a locked hand.
You don't see that often, locking hands in semifinals of Henlopen Conference.
Sometimes if you don't want to give up the reversal, you do.
Yeah. He wasn't really in that position, though, so.
Granby attempt by Norquist. Gets in on a leg. Dean able to hit back in, readjust.
He's into a double. The coaches are imploring him, step up. Lift it. Oh, he's going to put him to his back. Oh, he gave him 2. Tied up under the arms. Norquist wrestling well.
He is wrestling well.
Over here, we'll watch him
on bottom.
We'll watch him really go at Sebastianelli. Sebastianelli got an escape, a locking hands, and then a stalling call.
Looking for a cradle over here on mat number 1.
That's a combination of moves you don't see that often.
15 seconds to go on mat 1.
The fans still screaming for stalling for Sebastianelli, who continues to back up. But Wu's an attacking wrestler, so sometimes it's a little deceptive of what's stalling.
Overtime on mat number 1. So Norquist and Dean. Shot by Norquist. That's a takedown, and the freshman is on to the finals. Jackson Dean with the takeover.
To lose, Benny, but Norquist has got to be a little bit happy with that. two really, really lopsided matches to come back and go into overtime with Jackson Dean. So that should set them up, hopefully, for a run to third place and then be ready for the state tournament next weekend.
So we move to 100, the other 132-pound match on mat number 1. The defending state champ at 120 last year, Greg Baum. And Scott, this kid is as explosive as they come. He has got a mixer that can end the night for people. And he's up against Jared Arlett out of Indian River, making his first appearance in the semifinals. And Arlett, by the way, is the son of County Councilman Rob Arlett, who a winner in his own right because he was the chairman of the Trump campaign here in the state of Delaware. So
winner, chicken dinner, baby.
Right, there you go. So a little bit of politics mixed in wrestling today. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. Wrestling and politics, similar combat sports in the state of Delaware.
Well, you got Jim Jordan, state representative or U.S.
Oh, yeah.
I
was thinking more from the combative standpoint.
Right. Well, he could be
Trump could use some more wrestlers on his team, the way things are going.
Trump was a wrestler in high school, by the way.
Really? I thought he was a baseball player at Penn.
Right,
he maybe wrestled, too.
So here we go. Action on mat 1. That's Dean and Arlett. Arlett in the white. Dean, or excuse me, it's Baum and Arlett. Baum in the silver. And over here on mat number 2, that's Sebastianelli and Vascu out of Laurel.
Yeah, and Baum had shoulder wrapped in the state duels, and it looks like he's wrestling without that here. So hopefully he's feeling a little better.
And Sebastianelli puts Vascu, gets a 2 count, getting the swipes. And they go out of bounds, 4-2. Cole Sebastianelli leads. So if that lead holds here, Scott, we have a rematch at 126 between Stratton and Sebastianelli. Baum in on a low single, comes across to a double, looking for some backs out of it. Doesn't get him. 2-0. Greg Baum.
Stratton with the big pin of Sebastianelli in the state duels.
Off a dump.
Sebastianelli looking to reverse that fortune. But hey, long time to go. A minute left. 4-2. Wu is extremely explosive
and extremely dangerous. They go out of bounds. And Arlett goes to the floor.
Hard.
Very hard. I hope that was a shoulder, not a head that hit the floor. As you heard the boom way over here. Under a minute to go on mat 2. Sebastian Scott, he's just trying to show his dominance, ride this thing out and get him to his second conference final.
Yeah, and he wants to have the momentum going in. So a ride out, 40-second ride out here would make him feel good about the finals tonight. Finals a little early tonight.
They're saying 4:30, maybe 5 o'clock. And we'll have the finals here. Me and Scott Cameron have the call. And at the end of the night, we will have a Sodell Concept outstanding wrestler.
Sebastianelli with a couple more back points. Looks like he's picking up 3.
15 seconds to go.
Wu might get pinned here. I think Sebastianelli's going to be content maybe to sit it out for the last 8 seconds. So he's going to win 7-2, it looks like, and move on to the finals against Stratton of Sussex Central.
A rematch is what we're going to have at 126 pounds tonight, folks. Rashad Stratton, the defending champ at 126. He'll go up against Sebastianelli, Cole Sebastianelli out of Smyrna. Rematch of last year's Henlopen Conference Championship at the same weight, which is something you don't really see as kids grow through high school. And over back on mat number 1. 2-0 Baum. Arlett on top, putting on a ride, getting the pressure out front. And here comes a little bit of a roll, maybe for sits out, turns in, looking for a reversal. And over on mat number 2, folks, this is a matchup of 2 funky wrestlers. Vinny Diego out of Cape Henlopen, the number 1 seed, and he's up against Gavin Garcia from Milford. And guys, they do headstands, Granbys, all kinds of stuff. It could be a fun to watch semifinal at 138 pounds.
Yeah, and Diego's definitely a Gumby-like wrestler. He's got some great defenses, some great funks, and he's pretty patient. I'd say maybe neutral might be his strongest. Going right for the cradle. Wow. He's looking explosive. He's really responded well. He knocked a couple teeth out earlier in the season and was wearing a mask, and he's since shed That's got cleaned up a little bit, so.
Baum gets he's up 4-0 in the second period on mat 1. And Garcia, one of those guys that's hard to pin. You know, you got to get him locked up tight because he's like one of those double jointed guys, and he's funky.
He's in trouble now,
Benny. He gets himself in trouble.
He is in deep trouble. 2 minutes left. He's in a tight cradle. Tight. What kind of adjustment does Diego need to make here? Maybe hook that back leg?
Get some weight on him, get the hips back, get some weight on him.
He's stuffed.
And there's the pin at 138 pounds. So Vinny Diego, he became first finalist at 138. So the Vikings, first 2 guys go down. They got respectable matches. Vinny Diego gets it done for the Vikings. He's in the finals at 138. And it'll be his first state final. The senior out of Cape Henlopen High School.
Henlopen Conference.
Henlopen Conference. You're right, Scott.
We are doing the states next week, right?
Next week. We will be doing the state tournament. Next week will be a 3-man team for the semis and the finals. It's going to be myself, Scott Kammerer, and Paul Collier is going to join us next week, Scott, the head coach at First State Military Academy. Folks, on mat number 2, 2-time state champion, the number 1 seed, Chase Arcangelo in the red out of Smyrna High School, committed to Cleveland State, and he's up against Alex Cressy out of Milford, the number 4 seed. So here we go, mat 2, 145 pounds.
And we watched this match in the duel, Benny, and Arcangelo put it on him pretty bad in the duel, so Creasy's looking to really kind of bounce back.
And that's something that Arcangelo has done to everybody in the Henlopen Conference this year. He has just been, he's been
a buzzsaw this year.
Yeah, 145. The rankings there are 1, and I think you go down to 4 after that. He is that much ahead of the conference right now.
Really feel like the guy who gave him the best match was Zeke Bean from Cape.
And I think that ended up being a major.
And that was a major, and that's the scary part about it. And to be honest, I think Bean really wrestled defensively and kind of worked a lot of like lift switches, and so Arcangelo is a really good wrestler and a well-regarded young man in the wrestling community.
His father, Joe Arcangelo, was a state champ at a Clay. That title was so important that they closed the school. Claymont High School no longer exists.
The Clay Monsters.
The Clay Monsters. The Indians of Claymont High School. One of the forgotten schools in the state of Delaware. And Chase is going to put him up. So it's 2-1 with 1:20 to go on mat 2 at 145 pounds.
I think Chase is pretty comfortable in all positions. He's good on his feet. He's pretty good on top. And I've seen him wrestle well from bottom.
4-1 on mat 1 at 132 pounds. With Greg Baum and Jared Arlett. You know, Arlett, pretty good wrestler, not real flashy, but he's just in a 32, 38's a mess. And, you know, these are guys that are top ranked. And Arlett's ranked in the state, too.
Arlett's 4th.
Right. But, and there's a gap between 1, 2, and 4. It's been shown this year.
And Baum's wrestling like a defending state champ.
Right, stalling call on bottom.
He's in control. He's not making any mistakes. He's just a solid guy. His cement mixer is something to really watch out for. You know. Well, he's one of those guys, cement mixer from every position.
Coming to the finals, Jackson Dean couldn't ask for anybody else to be in his room with him every day if you have to defend a cement mixer.
That's right. Trey's got a couple cement mixers of his own.
A few of his own. So that's going to be an exciting 132-pound final. And another takedown by Arcangelo. He goes up 9-1. Or I guess that was back points, actually. And with 25 seconds to go, Baum has a 6-1 lead at 132 pounds. Folks, we're at Sussex Central High School. I'm Benny Mitchell, with me, Scott Kammerer. And we're bringing you semifinal action. And we'll be back tonight around 4:30, 5 o'clock for the finals. And here goes Baum. He was looking for a pinning combination there, but Arlett able to get his weight forward and get back to his base. So the defending state champ, Greg Baum, at 120. We're going to 32-pound match too, Scott. The freshman is one of the most anticipated matches of the year. They did not meet in the duel. They did not meet in the state duels. They are going to meet tonight at 132 for the Henlopen Championship. Team and Greg Baum tonight at 132. So we move on mat number 1. We move to 138 pounds. That's JT Davis, another freshman who just doesn't back down. But Scott, he's up against last year's Sodell Concepts outstanding wrestler.
Yeah, and Fisher last year in the Henlopen Conference
Fisher.
Finals defeats defending state champ from Middletown. And the
Smyrna. Arcangelo from Smyrna.
Oh, he beat Arcangelo, yeah.
And there's a pin for Chase Arcangelo. He's headed to the finals at 145 pounds. The defending state champ, 2-time state champ. Smyrna starting to widen the gap here in the team score, Scott. They're punching their guys through.
Here we go with 152 pounds on mat 2. We have Nate Bryant from Smyrna against Fleming from Lake Forest.
Dean Fleming, senior, made the rankings late in the season. Upset over Mac Tolson last night. And when I say upset, Scott, trailing 6-2, defensive pin. And Dean Fleming advances to the semifinals. Shot by Bryant and stuffed by Fleming. Then he comes in, gets a reshot, goes to 2 legs, and gets the takedown.
And I've watched Nate Bryant wrestle all year, and every match I've seen him in, he has one outstanding period and one terrible period.
And then you want to know what you get in the third one, you know.
Yeah, and the third one's kind of a toss-up. So I'd like to see him put it all together here,
here
a little bit.
The cradle.
And wrestle 3 solid periods.
So right now in the semis so far, Smyrna, they're showing their dominance. They're flexing. They got 2 guys on the mat right now. 0-0 on mat 1. Bryant looking for the pin. And Scott, that is one tight cradle. And there it is, a pin, first period pin for Nate Bryant. Senior of Smyrna. He's going to the finals.
I just feel like when you hook that far leg and pin it to the mat, it's tough. It's tough. So here we move to the other semifinal at 150 the Cape Henlopen.
And Divine Watkins out of Divine Watkins out of Dover. A surprise. He's the 3rd seed, but he's one of those quiet. You know, you don't hear about him all season long. And here he is in a semifinal. And I tell you what, Scott, he apparently knows where the weight room is at Dover High School.
Yeah, and Coach Harris did a good job of getting his guys ready for this tournament. I think Coach Harris doesn't really get the benefit of some of these guys that come into high school, 7-time kid state champion. He don't get a lot of those kids.
No.
He gets these tough kids that can lift and have some natural ability. He's trying to turn them into
and he's on a quick double leg on Jacquette and gets the takedown. Jacquette was the guy we talked about that, looks like the kind of kid we think could win a state title this year.
Yeah, Jacquette, I think, beat the Cape Henlopen record for takedowns in a year by about 40 takedowns.
Wow.
So he's had quite a few takedowns. He plays let him up, take him down. So to see him give up a takedown here is kind of a surprise.
There's a roll through, another roll through.
Catches the leg, goes to a Peterson. Oh, 2-2 is back too. Close to out of bounds, so he's going to have to be careful here.
Aaron Harris, he came by. He was a Cesar Rodney state champ at Cesar Rodney. Went to Del Valley to wrestle. Moved to Florida, down near Miami, where he won a state championship in Florida. And he also coached All-American Earl Hall out of Iowa State.
Yeah, so he's a guy that we love to have here in the state of Delaware in the Henlopen Conference with a lot of experience.
And to put him in a school like Dover, it's been 20 years since they were in the state duels, and they went to the semis this year.
He's also the AD at Dover, if I'm not
mistaken. Yes, sir, he is.
Which is kind of an unusual combination.
Well, he kind of got the AD's job because he got hired there. He was a wrestling coach, and the AD took a job down south. And the Dover's like, we need an athletic director. And Aaron took over, and he was going to have to give up coaching, but they changed their policy and allowed athletic directors and administrators to coach. And there's another double leg by Watkins, and he gets a takedown. He's down 5-4.
And he cuts him, Benny. I like this kid.
So he's going to cut the guy who owns Cape Henlopen's takedown record.
And I don't think he's looking at the record book, to be honest with you. I don't think he's studying that too much.
He just knows they don't want to ride him anymore.
Yeah, he knows that. Oh, Jaquette goes for a dump. He's getting put to his back.
And that's a deep half.
Looks like it's going to be 11-7 here.
Like a mixer finish.
Yeah.
Still 20 seconds, though.
20 seconds left. This is an exciting match. 18 points
15
scored.
to go.
First period.
He's going to wear him down going into the second period. I don't think he's going to get the pin here. He's not.
No. Jaquette looking for a quick escape with 3 seconds left. Isn't going to happen.
10-6 on mat number 2 at 152 pounds. Still 0-0 here on mat 1 at 138. Mat 1 slow today, Scott.
Not for those wrestlers and their families. It's not.
No.
Talk a little bit about, what it's like as a parent to watch kids in the Henlopen Conference in the state, just in any match in general.
Sitting right next to me here on this camera. She takes it a lot easier now, but she went through her years of stress watching her son wrestle.
Yeah, I think it takes 5 years off your life if your kid wrestles.
Easily.
Mattione on mat 1's asking the referee about a call.
Possibly a locked hands. So 0-0. Fisher takes bottom. Davis is going to put him on his feet. And Fisher, not a high-scoring wrestler, Scott. He's like the stingy guy. He doesn't let up a lot of points.
Yeah, and Fisher looks like he's getting his money's worth out of the tape at the Dover Athletic Department. He's got both fingers on his thigh tape. This time of year, a lot of wrestlers banged up. All kinds of little injuries. 5
wrestlers withdrew from the Henlopen Conference tournament with injuries this year.
And most of those occurred at the state duels.
And they were all ranked wrestlers. They weren't guys that were 8th, 9th seed. They were top 4 or 5 seed guys. Shot by Fisher in low, in deep. Looking to go 2 by Davis.
So Dante puts him on his feet to start the second. He's down 11-7.
Still no takedown on mat 1. 1-0 Fisher. Davis looking to funk it through. And Watkins might get another takedown here.
Dante funking over here too. Oh.
And Fisher's got Davis on his back on mat number 1. Divine Watkins. This guy's looking for the upset, Scott.
Watkins might cut him. This is a surprise.
I watched him wrestle in the duel against Sussex Central.
Yeah.
And he hit Max Tolson with a handful of double legs. And that's when he hit the scene. And there he is on another one. And he's going to get the takedown. And I think Jaquette wants injury time. (15-8), Scott. I'm shocked on mat number 2.
Yeah, Jaquette got poked in the eye, but I don't think that's why he got taken down.
I ain't got taken down. That kid was on a deep double leg.
Yeah. Watkins really has a great double. And it's funny sometimes, and I don't really know Watkins' wrestling history, but it's prototypical to teach a double leg like that.
Before anything else, yes.
Before anything else.
Especially if you get a football player. I don't know if he's a football player or not.
And some of us don't ever advance too far beyond the double leg takedown because it works so well.
So I'm going to get the reversal here.
Double leg and a half. Double leg and a half, if you have good hips and you're strong, you can win a lot of matches. A lot of matches.
So we got an escape here by Jaquette. 15-9, second period. It's got 24 points in a minute and a half. Or 3 minutes.
That's a football game.
That's not a pace I can keep. Fisher!
That's a whole season for
you. Yeah, absolutely. Anthony Fisher. He advances to the finals. He's the defending champ. He wins 6-0. Up next, Nick Lee, Zeke Beam. We should have another big, exciting final here. Are we on injury time right now?
Yeah, we're on injury time. He got poked in the eye again.
So, is that 2 injury times, or they're not counting them as injury times? It would be choice.
And over here from Dover, we have Nick Lee, who's 36-4. He's a senior, and he's a kid I've watched wrestle all the way through. Nice kid, good family, really hard.
By Bean, stuff Lee.
And Zeke Bean's a transfer. He's a senior from Cape Henlopen. He's 25-5. He was a place winner in South Carolina last year and transferred up here. His dad's a minister. Bean is a hard-nosed, tough kid to be a minister's child. I can tell you that right now. Really. He is a tough kid.
And Jacquette on injury time again. But I've not seen the injury time clock go yet. So I guess these are...
They might be keeping that on the
timeout clock. Lee throws in a leg. Looking for the takedown.
Bean's got that wizard. He is.
That's a takedown. That's a boot in. You got control. Your hips to the mat.
This is where he's tough with these switches and then the hip downs. Bean put it on Lee in the door. And faulted with a
down Nick Lee.
Almost a full Nelson by Lee.
So we have a trainer on the mat on mat 2. Are we talking concussion? Are we talking eye injury? Looks like eye.
We're talking eye. No concussion protocol that I've seen over here.
15-9, second period, 25 seconds to go on mat 2. Jacquette now in on a single leg. And he's going to get a takedown. So we could put 50 points up over there, Scott, for that one's over. 2-1 with 5 seconds to go on mat number 1 in the first period.
Watkins up 16-11 at the end of the second. They're not slowing down either. They're scoring at a rapid pace. Mat 1 looks like Lee deferred. Bean takes down.
2-1. Nick Lee in the blue, Bean in the yellow. I believe Kate brought 8 guys to the semifinals, Scott. And that's going to be escaped by Bean. 2-2 on mat number 1. Second period, third period action, 16-11 with Jacquette and Divine Watkins. Divine Watkins going to hear himself right here in the semifinals, but we still got 1:45 to go.
Dante with an escape. And let me tell you, Watkins has really impressed me. And I'm really happy with what Coach Harris has done with his Dover squad.
And on a double, switches to a high crotch, looking back to the double.
That double is really good, and there's no setup to it.
And now, his setup's his motion.
I don't know. It looks like a straight shot with no setup to me, and that just goes to show you how quick he is and how good he lowers levels.
But Jacquette looking, he's going to pull the ankle and go behind here. Walked in on the leg.
I tried to tell Mike he didn't believe either, Benny.
Yeah, so get your hands on him, right?
Yeah. Give me a little snap or some hand control and get an angle and take a shot.
Well, this situation right now is helping Watkins as the clock runs under a minute as we get a stalemate, 16-12. So Jacquette's got to look either take him down, let him up, or beat the back. And Jacquette drops down to a knee. And Divine Watkins, he's going to go double unders. 40 seconds to go on mat 2. And Scott, we talked last week, amongst ourselves, and we said after Jacquette knocked off the number 1 ranked Timmy Griffith out of Sanford, this kid could win a state title. And then this Divine Watkins coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, and there's plenty of history
and we said that because of his ability to wrestle on his feet.
But here he's running into a guy that's pretty good on his feet.
Right.
So, but there's a long history of people losing in the Henlopen Conference.
A little bit of peaking at the right time, too.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about when, Jacquette got a big win. A couple guys got a big win at Cape. But like I said, did they peak too soon? There was still 2 weeks to go to the conference tournament.
But you see a lot of reversals of fortunes, though, from the Henlopen Conference to the state title. Fisher beat Arcangelo, and
comes back in the state tournament. So Divine Watkins, he's advancing to the final. That's Dover Senators to the finals. And Coach Mattioni doing a good job of controlling his guy. A lot of emotions. He's upset. He's a number 2 seed. Just got to live to fight another day, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the things about wrestling teaches these lessons that adversity comes in spades in wrestling, and wrestling will take you to places that emotionally you may not get to go otherwise.
Coach Mattioni probably doesn't weigh $150, but he took matters literally into his own hands.
Yeah,
he
absolutely.
picked up Jacquette, and you got to give a coach credit for that. You don't reward the bad behavior. So Devon Watkins, he's going to the finals. That's 2 Dover Senators. Nick Lee's looking to make it 3. We're 2-2. And Scott, here we go.
Now, coming out of the state duels, he's lost 3 times in a row to Avery Mahan from Polytech. Comes out with a quick takedown.
And I said this morning, if the Giovanni Batista that wrestled Tuesday wrestles today, he can overcome that. That may have been one of the most impressive performances I've seen in state duels.
I mean, those are the best state duels in the 20-odd years I've been going to it.
Absolutely.
And his performance in it really was the highlight of the whole tournament for me.
And he's building confidence over this week.
You know, and his victory over Corey Lawson, I think Corey really took it to heart, and he's really looking to avenge that loss and come back strong.
Bean looking to sub up over here. He trails 3-2 with a minute to go. Lee's got to watch the defensive fall here.
So 2-1, Batista over Mayan, in on the shot again.
We got 2 great matches going on right now.
These are excellent matches, Benny. Fans are getting their money's worth out of these 2 matches.
And we're going to get a stalemate with 42 seconds to go. 3-2. Nick Lee, Zeke Bean. Nick Lee in the blue, Bean in the yellow. Cape Henlopen and Dover. And what do you think that 3-man group looks like at Dover with Lee, Watkins, and Fisher?
Yeah, and I think those are kids that are just making each other better.
Absolutely.
I feel like Lee's probably more technically proficient than the other 2. So
and it 3 totally different styles.
Yeah, totally different styles.
Lee very technical. Fisher stingy. Watkins just comes after you.
And Watkins is raw. He might have the most upside of the 3 of them.
Right. Watkins is a junior.
I like that. I wonder if Harris rolls with them.
10 seconds to go, folks. So you're on mat number 1.
Batista with another takedown. Goodness gracious, Benny.
4 seconds left on mat number 1. 3-2. Look for a quick shot off the whistle. No, Bean's gonna concede. So Nick Lee wins 3-2. Shake it. So we found some good sportsmanship there, Scott, and shaking the hand by Zeke Bean, and
some people hate loss.
We'll just come on to next week.
Here we go, the 160 pounds on mat 1. Defending state champion Corey Lawson from Cape Henlopen.
3 Dover Senators all in a row.
I love it.
Moving to the finals.
I love it. Good for that program. That's something that you love to see.
160 pounds on both mats, and like you said, and Scott, how much does home mat advantage help Bautista here? All 3 of his losses were on the road.
I don't know, but Batista's got some pretty heavy hips, man. It shocks me anybody could take him down. And look, man, tough. Sucking that in, trying to step over. Batista with the whizzer.
And Scott, we're going to battle out here with these 3 tough. And Kerr would have been a 4th tough one, but he goes out with concussion. We're going to battle this out tonight at 160, and they all
3 of these kids could be state champs.
And they got
2 of them already have been.
They got to get to a guy by the name of Andrew Brooks, who's a defending state champ too, out of Sanford. So it's going to be a great semifinals next week at 160.
I haven't seen Brooks wrestle too much because he's been banged up a little bit this year, so I'm not really sure where he is. I've seen these 3 Henlopen Conference guys quite a few times. I know that Batista lost 3 times to Avery. Avery lost to Lawson.
Now you say that.
And Lawson split with Batista.
We're looking at Batista with a shoulder. These guys are going to come out of this meat grinder banged up.
That's one of the advantages, I think, to
not being in the Henlopen Conference.
Yeah. I mean, the independent conference, the Henlopen Conference, to say the least.
Well, with St. Mark's, not that. Lawson getting some tilts over here on mat number 1.
And a 5-1 lead for Batista is a big lead.
Yeah. He's stingy, too.
Yeah, he's stingy. He's got great hips. He's hard to take down.
He's hard to hold down.
That kid really seized the moment on Tuesday night, though. It was a career-defining day for him.
So, Scott, a couple you're a Cape Henlopen guy. A couple of Cape Henlopen guys have gone down here in these semis. I mean, what do you attribute that to? What is, like one right after another?
Wrestling is, if baseball's a game of inches, wrestling's a game of moments. And sometimes they go for you, other moments go against you. But I talk about this all the time, that people that I work with, people in my company, and me, I'm a prime example of that. That wrestling allowed me to become a successful businessman.
Absolutely.
And if it wasn't for wrestling, I wouldn't be the businessman I am today. So it's all about how you deal with it.
That's two more back points for Lee. I'm sorry, continue with your thoughts.
And I'm thankful that wrestling gets to give these kids the opportunity to experience this. So, talking about my son Holden, he was ranked 2 at 195. He's got a concussion. He's out.
3 boys, and Griffin wanted no part of it.
No, I took him to the Hammers early on, and he said he didn't like people touching him.
Right.
So that really isn't. This ain't the swear for that.
But he's a pitcher up at Swarthmore College, and outstanding kid himself.
Yeah, Griffin.
Except your kids don't like to wear shoes.
No, they hate shoes. My older son was a two-sport all-state guy, right. and he's really kind of a driven, focused kid. Wants to go work on Wall Street and be successful. And
talking with Scott Cameron, folks, Sodal Concepts, and it's great to have a sponsor that can talk wrestling. Scott was a state champ out of
East Brunswick,
New Jersey. He's a Jersey State champ, and Corey then went on to wrestle at Lock Haven. And my favorite Scott Cameron story was losing his first ever wrestle off. Really upset about it until his teammate got beat around by a guy by the name of Kurt Angle, Olympic gold medalist, and probably the best sit out you ever had, don't you think?
Yeah, I tell a story all the time. I think I was in high school. I may have been on like an 80. College wrestle off to lose 2.5 years. I was crying on the way out to Clarion. I get out there, and just to watch my teammate get hammered by Kurt Angle.
And you weren't crying after that?
Maybe this wasn't such a bad. So is Pennsylvania wrestling. So Lock Haven against Clarion in those days, they were two top 5 programs. Sheldon Thomas was at Clarion at the time, and they Kurt Angle and
Testa too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so you have Penn State, Clarion,
for our
Edinburgh.
Wrestling fans at home, Sheldon Thomas, we said that name. Delaware 4-time state. Delaware's only NCAA champion in Division I.
He had a great career.
Looks like Bautista is going to turn the fortunes on those 3 losses with 10 seconds to go. And over on mat number 1, defending state champ Larson Wilson has a takedown on Chris Hanlon out of Cape Henlopen. Brandon Bautista's in the finals from Sussex Central with a first period pin.
Talking about my college career, I was teammates with Kerry Colott for 1 season, and just being around him
now
for a little while.
Now the head coach at Campbell.
Yeah, and there's just being around. He was a 4-time state champion in Pennsylvania, but just being around him a little bit work ethic worker. Just spent some time around that guy.
I took my son to a 2-day camp of his, and they warmed him a full lather and had to go change clothes. I mean, that's the kind, and he's just crazy work ethic. Yeah,
if you get a chance, go on Flow Wrestling. There's kind of a life history, a little bit about Kerry Colott and his
Everett High, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's funny because I was teammates with Kerry Colott, and then the 2 guys he beat in state finals. All 3 of them were on the team at the same time, and they had some really epic workouts in the wrestling room. Multiple Pennsylvania state champs going at it every day in practice.
Mat number 2, that's number 1 seed Blake Chambers out of Sussex Central. He's come on late in the season after a ankle injury. He's up against Jaden McCove out of Polytech. And over on mat number 1, this should be a good matchup.
Blake Chambers had a great duels. He started off the semifinal with a big victory, and he ended the finals with a big victory. And that's a kid that didn't shy away from the spotlight.
Over on mat 1, we have the 2 and 3 seed, and this should be a battle. Lucas Hudson out of Sussex Central, Hunter Moyer out of Smyrna. Hudson with 2 razor-thin wins over Moyer so far. I think both late takedowns.
Yeah, and both these guys with first period pins in the quarterfinals, and they're moving on. And I think Hudson took him down with 5 seconds left, and then the next match he reversed him with 5 seconds left. So looking at fortune. But see, I think Moore needs to be a little more explosive and score a little earlier in the match. I don't think you want to take it down to the wire again with this guy. Two really strong guys here at 182. Really two well-built, strong guys.
Moyer, a junior, also a football player. He got a late start to the season. Smyrna, they won their second state title in football. They were going for number 5 this year in wrestling, Scott, trying to tie the record of their arch rivals, the Cesar Rodney Rhinos, but the third rival in that bunch, Sussex Central, ended all that. And so the Smyrna Eagles are the state runner-up this year in Division I. And Sussex Central is your state champions this year in Division I. And we also here on scene, we got the Milford Buccaneers, who won the Division II state title, and they beat Indian River. So all 4 final teams at last week's state duels, they're in this conference. And as Paul Kyer calls it, the Henlopen Conference, the Big Ten of Delaware High School wrestling.
Yeah, and you're seeing a lot of these individuals here that are hoping to have a great weekend that can be a springboard for a state championship. These two guys at 182, they're both a threat, and then the guy we're going to see in the next semifinal, Zeke Marcosi, is a threat to win the 182 state title.
Zeke Marcosi beat the number 1 ranked kid out of St. George's in the semifinals.
Yeah, and that was a really razor-thin match with a 1-1 victory.
So 2 Sussex Central Golden Knights going at it on their home mat for the last time. Both of them are seniors. I was told that the final match tonight will be a Sussex Central senior that's in the finals. Phil Schulte, he's thrown his weight around 42 years. He's been the coach here. He's hosting the last one. He said it's going to end with a Sussex Central senior tonight.
What's it ending with?
We don't know yet.
Oh, he's just saying it's going to be a senior?
Because he's going to pick the match.
Oh, okay.
Blake Chambers looking for a fall on mat number 2. Low leg Turk. And Jaden McCove able to fight it off. 1-0. Hunter Moyer here on mat number 1.
Chambers is really hot right now.
I said he's come on since the ankle injury.
He's really hot.
He's been unbeaten since then.
And as bad as it is, sometimes that injury at the right time of the season.
We got it right around Christmas.
Yeah, and kind of recharge your batteries.
Same thing with Brooks. I'm not sure if Brooks had the surgery or not. I talked to him at the Beast. He really didn't want to. It was an MCL issue. But I think with as long as he sat out, we'll find out next week. I think he must have had the surgery and got himself cleared and was back about 2 weeks ago. And that's going to be the danger of him at 160, Scott. He's going to come in rested.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have another battle at 160 tonight.
Chambers with a cradle. Quick cradle and the pin. Goodness gracious. Strike like lightning.
Yeah, Blake Chambers, Sussex Central High School, 170 pounds. He moves to the finals. So the Knights, they're starting to put their guys out there. So it's going to Chambers this year. So now both mats will be at 182 pounds. It's going to be the second Indian to get in out of the Indian River Indians. Coached by Jeff Winters there in the corner. Took over for Kurt Howe. 10 ago.
Yeah, and for Polytech, you got Vincent Tachione, who was the 5 seed, who's advanced here to the semifinals.
Hudson in on a leg. 5 seconds to go. Whizzer by Moyer. Hudson looking at over. I like stepping over that. One of my pet.
Good way to go right to your back.
Totally 50-50 there.
Yeah. Marcosi with a dump.
Yeah, he's looking for a quick fall himself.
He's looking for a pin.
Scott, there's a lot of guys that want that coveted Sodell plaque tonight. No doubt about it. Or they want a picture with you.
Yeah, well, it's definitely available.
Last year, and I was a little late ordering the plaque. And so I got it ordered, and next thing you know, it's May, and I'm busy at work, and Nick Lee sends me Anthony Fisher sends me a couple emails like, yeah, I'll be in Dover next week. I got it to him in September. I saw him about a week ago, and I said, you thought I was lying, didn't you? He goes, no, Coach, you get it. Takedown by Moyer. Hudson with a Merkel. Minute 27 to go. Hudson takes a 3-1 lead over Moyer. And Hudson just seems to have Moyer's number, Scott.
Yeah, he really does.
Moyer sits out, comes to his feet. Returned to the mat by Hudson.
Hudson looking to ride him out a little bit, limit the amount of time that he can be exposed for a takedown.
5-0 on mat 2.
Pescioni with injury time over here.
Marcosi taking a little chance to watch who he's got in the finals, maybe. And hey, let me tell you something. Hudson's putting on a college-like ride right now. He's knee up the butt, chop, everything going forward.
And Marcosi was a 160-pounder last year, and bumped up to 182 this year.
There's a little talk all year long whether he would drop to 70, but he is way too big to go to 70.
Yeah.
But, you know, with a win over, what's the kid's name from St. George's?
Austin Clayton.
Austin Clayton. That was a huge win. He wins this weekend. His #1 seed going into next week. And we're going to get a stalemate with 37 seconds left on mat 1. Hudson up 3-1. Scott, he needs one good chop, one knee at the butt, and he's going to the finals.
Yeah, and 182 is a deep weight class.
Champ.
Yeah, you have 3 guys here that could be, you know, these guys and then Clayton that's out of St. George's. I think you're looking at your state champ as either on the mat right here or Austin Clayton at
and Hudson,
St. George's.
Hudson had a roller coaster season. Escaped by Moyer. You know, he had a good start. Took some losses in the middle, but he's coming on at the right time.
He was at 195 for a while. Now he's dropped down to 180.
Mike Clayton, another guy who's not in the tournament today, ACL tear, and
you hate to see that.
A lot of people. He had a pre-existing condition, and that spladle that everybody complained about. That's where he re-injured it, and has a slight tear in his ACL, out for the year.
Yeah, and that's why you see, I mean, the fans really booed that, thinking it was that kind of decision, but wrestlers are tough. They're not taking injury time out.
No.
Only one guy I ever saw that deliberately took injury time
right.
out. I'm not going to mention his name.
That alone. Luke Hudson needs to fight off a...
He's going to get hit with stalling here.
Lucas Hudson. Sussex Central is going to the finals at 182 as the #2 seed. Starting to flex, Scott. And here we go at 195 pounds, the pinning machine.
Oh, man.
Tony Wiest. Third at the Beast of the East.
If he doesn't have the state record for pins, I don't know who does. I feel like he's been national ranked kids on a regular basis.
Yes.
You know?
Marcosi now up 10-0 on mat 2.
The thing about Wiest is he can pin from his feet just as easily as he from
Freshman and sophomore year, most of his pins came from top. This year they're all coming.
Yeah, he's a dangerous wrestler. You know, with his background in jiu-jitsu and judo. And
his father, one of our sponsors.
The other thing I have seen with Wiest this year is his leg attack definitely.
Right, and his
look at this.
Defense attacks. Defending his legs has gotten better.
Yeah, absolutely.
His dad, Ronnie Wiest, is one of our sponsors for tonight's finals. He'll be bringing you the matchups. Brother Ronnie, also a McDaniel wrestler. He was a Smyrna wrestler, third in the state. For whatever you get. He'll make a little something fun wrestler to watch. And like a modified spladle.
Yeah.
Got to watch his own back. Probably not going to get a pin there.
We probably won't have a spladle gate rerun here. He's elevating the back leg here.
He's up against
Michael Galloway.
Michael Galloway, Lake Forest.
He got his 3 back. It's up 5-0. Zeke Marcosi in total control on mat 2.
12-0, second period.
Looks like he's going for he's got a reinforced bar. He's going to try and turn it again. There you go. This might be it.
And there he goes. He's going to sit there. Now he's going to go for the put the weight on him, the cover. I'm more of a sit guy there, and kind of make him want to put that shoulder down.
Either way, this match is over. It's either going to end in a pin or a technical fall with a 15-point differential.
In the second period, Marcosi
over here on mat 1. Tight power half. That's a pin.
And a pin for Wiest. Tech fall for Zeke Marcosi. So 2 Indian River Indians in the finals. Makes it to the I don't think Smyrna's lost too many finals here, Scott. I'm going to have to go check that out.
So here we go on mat 2. Brock Malumium of Cape Henlopen, the 2nd seed, against Van Pelt of Sussex Tech.
And over on mat number 1, both in yellow, and the yellow with the blue stripe. That's Johnny Morris, I think one of your favorite guys to watch. And out of nowhere, Brendan Holder, the junior out of Cesar Rodney. Steve Bilbro came for state runner-up for Cesar Rodney. He's worked with this guy a lot. It was a 4-5 upset, but Brendan Holder just didn't make the rankings. He beats Billy Ott in last night's quarterfinals, one of the big quarterfinal matches.
Bilbro, always a good guy to watch. I remember his battles with A.J. Brooks in the early 2000s. A.J. out of Sussex Tech, the state champ, and Bilbro out of Cesar Rodney.
Johnny Morris going front, headlock goes behind. Holder having a good tournament, but now he's up against the number 1 seed. This might be a little too much for him.
Yeah, and Morris is an experienced wrestler. He's good on his feet, good on top.
His brother not wrestling today.
Yeah, I think he's got a shoulder injury.
Right.
He's out with a shoulder injury.
He's missed a lot of time this year, and you know what? He did the team thing. He stayed in, wrestled the duels they needed him to wrestle, and he's got him a state title medal another way.
So 0-0, minute left here at 185 pounds, semifinal match. Brock Malumia.
Did these two wrestle in the third season?
No, they did not. Van Pelt at 95, Malumia back and forth between 82 and 95 all year.
And we're going to have another Cape Tech matchup coming up at 285 between number 1 ranked Zach Flores and Travis Shermer. Shermer gave Flores his only in-state loss this year in a ride-out.
Yeah, and those two split this year. Flores is a tough customer. He's good on his feet, good on top.
And has a good heavyweight coach in Scott Layfield, who was a state champ.
Yeah, there you go. And has a pretty good heavyweight coach, too, in Matt Gravier.
Right, Morris looking for the pin.
Chop, finish.
He could wrestle to see who the best heavyweight coach is. Dick Matt. Johnny Morris, Sussex Central, Scott. They're flexing. 3 in a row in the finals. Johnny Morris, the senior, and a pin for Van Pelt, the number 3 seed. Scott, I was watching the other match. What happened there?
Yeah, so Brock Malumia shoots a high crotch, takes him down. Van Pelt directly to a Peterson, rolls Brock Malumia to his back and pins him to advance to the finals against Tony Weiss.
So here we go on mat number 1. Got a couple of Sussex Tech Ravens. Mat number 1, that's the 285. That's number 1 ranked in the state, Zach Flores out of Cape Henlopen, and he's up against I believe 4 or 5 Shermer. Jamie Shermer. I'm sorry, I called him Travis a minute ago. Jamie Shermer. And then over on mat number 2, we have Andrew Hawkins out of Sussex Tech at 220, and he's up against Dom Hovington. And unless Hawkins can put something together, this is a 2-man weight class here in Henlopen Conference. Hovington and Morris have really ruled 220 this year downstate.
Yeah, and Hovington dropped to 195 for the duels and helped Milford win a state title. And now he's here at 220 for the individual conferences, trying to win his own state title.
And that's going to be nope, they're going to call him out of bounds. An impressive win over McCosey in the state dual finals. He's bumping up.
Yeah, he's bumping up and Hovington bumping down.
And I'll tell you what, Hovington after 6 hours wasn't weighing 197.
After 15 minutes he probably was.
Yeah, he probably had to watch his weight for 220.
He looks good here though. I think he looks like he's lean, he's in good shape.
I think the cut to 195 is probably helping. We'll see how it works in the finals tonight.
Yeah.
He has 2 losses to Morris, both close losses.
Yeah, maybe dropping a little bit extra weight, moving a little better, and leaning out might be a helpful thing, you know.
We all should try it.
I know the doctor's been saying that to me for years.
Yeah, mine can.
Yeah, Hovington didn't call a takedown yet. I'm not sure what's going on with that. There you go, those 2. He's around the ankle.
Now in college, Scott, by rule, when your hands touch the floor, it's out of bounds. And there, I think Hawkins is actually holding on to the edge of the mat.
Yeah, with his fingernails.
All right. 0-0 on mat 1.
Injury timeout.
What is it with Matt 2 and the eye pokes today?
I don't know. If you're wearing the contact and get poked in the eye, not fun. So here we are, 285, number 1 seed Flores against number 4 seed Jamie Shermer.
Let's go back to another ride-out. When Flores gets a takedown, he wins.
Probably the worst match I've seen in my entire career was their dual meet. I'm pretty sure it was 0-0 after 7 periods.
Right. And in college, that's like people scream about those. But in Division I college, you have 0-0 and guys flying all over the mat. Heavyweight, just a little bit different.
Flores looked good in the quarterfinals last night.
I'm sure you spent your time in a collar tie in wrestling, didn't you? You spent your time in a collar. You spent plenty of time in a collar tie.
Yeah, actually, I was one of those. I was a low single guy.
But if need be, need a little rest.
Yeah.
You go to the collar tie. Covington, 23 seconds to go. So second period, the all-important escape, Scott, because this match already came down to a ride-out once, and Shermer's going to have choice late as he got the first point.
That's why it's good to take, you take bottom and you get your points. Flores looks a little more active here than he has.
And we got a stall call on Shermer.
That could,
and we're on the edge. That could change things.
Sometimes a referee. What's this referee's name, Benny? Do you know?
That's Keith Mumford.
Keith Mumford. He's
probably pushing 30 years.
I sat next to him during the and he was from the state of Delaware.
Right.
And I was impressed with him and his knowledge of the sport and really love of the wrestling in Delaware.
Locked hands on Hawkins over on mat 2. That's going to make it 3-0.
Huffington's moving well. I mean, he cut the corner there.
All-conference linebacker, all-state linebacker.
He's going to college to play football, right?
College to play football. Actually didn't want to wrestle, but Coach Strickland, the football coach you see in the corner, is the assistant wrestling coach. He said, you want help going to play football? Get on the wrestling mat. So, try it out for basketball this year.
Number of guys in the NFL that played, that wrestled in high school is tremendous.
Right. And Shermer with a body lock on the edge. And they're going to go out of bounds. 33 seconds to go.
Flores could use a takedown right here.
Matt Gravier is up out of his seat. Layfield in a boot and a crutch, so he probably won't be out of his seat much.
Who do you think wins between Gravier and Layfield? Delaware State champs. Unless Layfield's going to use his crutch to hit Gravier with.
Question: one AED or two?
What?
Are we bringing one AED or two?
I think in their prime, that would have been a great match.
Yeah.
I really do. I love watching Layfield wrestle.
Layfield was the full 285.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was a really good high school wrestler.
Sussex Central State champ.
Yeah, as was Gravier. Gravier was a Cape Henlopen State champ. Layfield might have been like 92. Layfield's done a great job at Sussex. Some of my favorites. Under control, cares about the kids and is passionate, always appropriate.
Long time.
Henlopen Conference is full of great long-time coaches.
Right.
Really good. Matty Layfield's been around. Schulte, obviously. Parsley on his second stint.
Right.
After a shoe throwing incident of 2004.
Right.
Flores with looking for a reversal. Might settle for the escape.
And he does. Escape has 1-1. And Shermer does have a stall call. Shot shoots him off the mat.
Rigby's been a long-time coach, even though he's at Milford for a while. Comes from a long line of great coaches in his family.
Well, yeah, the interesting thing about Milford when they won the Division II state championship Tuesday night, Don Parsley tied the Rigby's at Milford.
Yeah.
Roy Rigby back in 80 and 81 won 2 titles. And then let me tell you something. They may have been 2 of the best teams ever in the state of Delaware, the 80 to 81 Milford Buccaneers.
Yeah,
then Dan Rigby, 2014, 2015, got a pair. And then Don just picked up his 4th state title. So he's one more, and he beats the Rigbys.
I love the tradition that Milford has, small-town America wrestling, their relationship with wrestling. They get the kids out. That's the thing that Milford does. They get their kids out, and they come out.
One Delaware.
Yeah.
And Hovington looking to go behind. He's up 5-0 on mat number 2. Did they start neutral here? Oh, there it is, 1-1.
Yeah, it's 1-1. Flores, Shermer took down. Now, was this match destined for overtime?
Oh, absolutely.
It might have been destined from the beginning.
Nobody's taking a real shot yet.
Really, the only difference I see between here is that there's one stall call on Shermer.
Right.
It looks like Flores is the aggressor.
Right. Well, you can be.
Yeah, but Sherman's not doing a bad job. I mean, he's
got the height advantage, leverage advantage, and the weight advantage.
Yeah, Sherman's
always going to get the takedown, looking for the fall.
I'm not sure what I just saw there.
It's a trip.
Is it a trip?
Yep, Flores.
We've said all year, if Flores gets that trip and you go to your back, you're either getting a broken rib or get pinned, or both.
So him and Corey Lawson now in the finals for the Cape and Henlopen Vikings. And that's going to bring up
tough loss for Sherman because they wrestled tough, and he was doing great. I mean, 1-1.
We can see that match again next week.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Sherman needs to just regroup and get ready for the next match.
That's
you know what I mean? Kind of let that go. Those things happen, you know what I mean? Especially when you're dealing with heavyweights. So this is a good matchup here. Springer
and Brian Wines.
Forest, and Wines of Milford.
Wines, he just can't figure out Flores, and he's the guy that's tall enough and big enough to wrestle with Flores.
And let me tell you, his low single's good. He's got a little bit of a sweep single. It's good. I mean, I almost think he could wrestle on this level with that team all together and the combination of a match.
I'm wondering if tonight maybe he should go with a no touch type approach.
You know, and Springer he's had a really good career and won some big matches, and his tattoo game is very strong.
Absolutely,
Benny. Very strong. I'd say he's one of the top 2 or 3 tattoo guys in the state of Delaware. Would you say that's true? Leeds is pretty good too.
All time, Vinny Renato.
Yeah. Oh my God, Vinny Renato. He's
the all time win leader
and tattoo leader.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, tattoo leader. Tough kid, man. Wrestled at Ryder, right?
No, he played football at Shippensburg. He's now running a program called the Wolf. Is it Ryan? He's running a program called the Outdogs out of Newcastle.
I love watching him wrestle in Delaware. He was a tough kid, man. He was a dominant wrestler.
So I guess we're done wrestling on mat number 2.
I mean, I'd like to see Wines with this low single. Yeah, go no touch. I think that's a great idea. Springer with a 2-on-1, Shrug to a 2-on-1. These guys are moving well, much better than the first match.
Our last semifinal match, folks. We're going to take a commercial break, come back. Me and Scott we're going to wrap up the semis. What we saw, and we saw a lot. Outstanding wrestling here in the Henlopen Conference. And Mat 2 is going to move to consolation, so we'll go to one picture here. And Scott, this is a rivalry. Lake Forest and Milford is a huge rivalry in the Henlopen Conference.
Yeah, these are 2 really, really strong wrestlers that have had good careers, so I'm interested to see how this one shakes out. Springer's another one. Like, I feel like he needs to put together a whole match.
Right.
You know? And both these guys definitely have a chance to beat Flores. They have all the tools that are needed to beat them.
Springer early in the year took him to overtime, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And Flores with that double underhook to a bear hug to a trip. I mean, he's been working on that all season. He hasn't gotten it a whole lot.
Right.
But we've said all along when he gets it, it's
Upstate,
pretty devastating.
You got to be careful. J. Juwan Jones, he is back from a broken hand. He is a beast placer. He likes to throw. We'll see what we get.
I don't think a broken hand's going to slow him down too much.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, maybe a little.
And wrestlers are broken hand. I got a young kid by the name of Trevor Copes, 10 years old, broke his little finger and ring finger at practice 2.5 weeks before the kids' state tournament. And mom took him, got an x-ray, and they were talking about possibility. And 10 years old, he begged the doctor not to cast his hand, just to give him a soft cast or a brace, so he could go out and wrestle in the kids' state tournament. And he came out and won his 4th kids' state title. But that's just the crazy mentality of wrestlers. You got to be a little bit crazy and stupid to do this sport sometimes.
Yeah, wrestling's a different kind of thing, and that's socially acceptable in wrestling circles. And, and maybe in girls lacrosse, not so much.
Right. And Trevor's brother here wrestling today, Gage Copes, wrestling for Lake Forest. A freshman, 170-pounder.
Here you go, a little bit of action.
And goes behind Wines.
Yeah.
Yeah. Springer likes that elbow roll.
Yeah. He's going for it again.
All right. Brian Wines, good job switching his weight to that near side. Hey, he appears to only be able to get it on one side, Scott. And la Zach Parker right here. Inside wrist, put it on the back, but he can't get it over.
Call that a hammerlock there. Oh, to a running the bar.
Hammerlock, made great by the late great George the Animal Steele.
That's right.
Who just passed away recently.
My favorite was when he, with his teeth, ripped apart the turnbuckle.
There you go. Was a high school wrestling coach.
Oh my gosh!
And Wines fights off his back. What's this? 7 points in a heavyweight match? Is that legal?
I tell you what, these are two high flyers right here. Springer looking for a cradle. Popping the hands out, trying to go flat. Wines coming up with the roll.
Grammy roll at heavyweight.
My gosh. He's got to get that other ankle. Is he going to give him one?
Yes, 1 point for Wines, 4-4. Well, Don Parsley is the master of the Grammy roll, right up to 285.
He's the master, all right.
He is a Lock Haven alum, just like you.
Not like me, but yeah, he is a Lock Haven alum.
That ship sailed, right?
Yeah. I was asked to leave midway through my career. I think he had a little more solid of a career than me.
He has a little Delaware connection before he came here. I believe his senior or junior year at Lock Haven, he went to the NCAAs and first round lost to Clinton Burke out of William Penn, who I think was a national finalist. I believe Clinton Burke was a runner-up at Oklahoma.
So here we are, 4-4 going into the third.
Wines with choice, I believe. No, we don't know who has choice yet.
I thought Wines
has choice, correct.
He's taken down. Springer's good on top, though. I think that's one of his better positions.
2 minutes left here at 285. Stretching out like that. And now he goes a whizzer.
Oh, look at that.
And he gets to his feet, 5-4. In that corner, the guy standing up. Coach Fleming was a runner-up for Lake Forest many, many years ago, 20, 25 years ago. So, folks, after this last match, we're going to cut to a couple commercials, come back. Myself and Scott Kammerer, we're going to talk about what we saw here today and what we expect for the finals. Finals, they're saying 4:30. Expect that to be maybe more like 5 o'clock. Because we're already, although this went quick. We went an hour and a half on these semis. We'll have a Sodell Concepts outstanding wrestler. Last year was Anthony Fisher Dover. A lot of guys making a statement for it here in the semis, Scott. Before in our pre-show, Phil Schulte agreed to come and talk in the pre-show. His final day in his gym. 41 of them here, one of them in Indian River.
He coached a year in Indian River?
Matter of fact, the story I wrote in the Cape Gazette, Joe Booth talks about that. I quoted Joe Booth about that. He said, Joe says he remembers that night. I don't know how, 1976.
Yeah.
But he claims he remembers it, but just giving Joe a little, former state senator, heavyweight champion here at Sussex Central, state champion. He said he remembers sitting on the bench just watching Herm Baschinelli, so proud that one of his former wrestlers was now coaching and coaching against him. But yeah, a lot of people don't know that. I want to thank Corey Messick, my cameraman on mat 2 today, and Kristen Mitchell on mat 1. But talk about how proud Herm Baschinelli was of seeing, one of his ex-wrestlers. I talked to Paul Collier last Saturday at the Rigby, and Steve Bilbro, DJ, my son, and he coached all those guys. And the same thing, it was like Jesse Glandon at Laurel. He says, makes him feel good to come out there and see guys that he coached now passing it on to others.
And most wrestlers are proud of other wrestlers that do well for themselves.
Sure.
You know?
And if you talk to each one of those guys I just mentioned, former riders, they'll tell you how much Paul Collier meant for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a win for Brian Wines. Folks, we're going to cut to a commercial break. Come right back. It's going to be me and Scott Cameron. We're going to recap the semis, and we'll talk a little bit about the finals. We'll be right back.
I remember watching.
This place is for everybody. Actually, my entire family signed up. So my wife, my children, my young son comes in. My son's only 10.
They have the kids classes, they have the fitness class if you're just looking primarily to get in shape. Obviously the jiu-jitsu class is what I come here for.
Every time I walk through that door, I'm unbelievably happy, that I'm here. I mean, just a reminder of all the energy and effort that I've put in.
Even if you just watch a class first, you won't know until you try.
This place is for everybody. Actually, my entire family signed up. So my wife, my children.
Scott Cameron of Sodell Concepts. We have 8 locations, a catering company and a food truck right here on the Culinary Coast in Southern Delaware, and we'd love to see you at one of our locations. Fish On in Lewis in the Villages of 5 Points. Lupo Italian Kitchen on Rehoboth Avenue in downtown Rehoboth, serving homemade pasta. Papa Grande's in downtown Rehoboth. Our treetop deck has the best happy hour around. And Matt's Fish Camp, located on Route 1 in North Bethany Beach, your classic seafood shack. At Sodell, we believe in beautiful, simple food.
Hi, I'm Shannon Colburn, General Manager of Blue Coast Seafood Grill in Bethany Beach.
And I'm Douglas Ruley, Vice President and Chef of Sodell Concepts.
Located on Coastal Highway just north of downtown Bethany Beach, Blue Coast Seafood Grill and Raw Bar is the landmark restaurant overlooking the beautiful Salt Pond. Some house specialties include fried baby lobster tails, baked oysters, seafood stew, lobster cavatappi, and of course, daily selections of fresh fish and raw oysters.
That's Blue Coast Seafood.
Hi, I'm Scott Cameron from Sodell Concepts.
And I'm Danae from Matt's Fish Camp.
Come check us out.
Matt's Fish Camp is the small local fish joint with 2 locations on Coastal Highway in North Bethany Beach and Lewis, where we serve up traditional coastal fare in a casual atmosphere with house specialties like colossal crab cakes, lobster rolls, and fried Ipswich clams, along with crowd pleasers like fish and chips, fried shrimp, and a daily selection of fresh caught fish. Matt's Fish Camp, serving up lunch and dinner 7 days a week, all year.
Locations in Bethany Beach and Lewis, Delaware. See you soon.
We're leaving.
Back to Sussex Central High School, folks. You'll see some consolation action going on, but myself and Scott Cameron, we're going to talk a little about these semi-finals. We're going to start at 106 pounds, where Mike Primo of Cesar Rodney, ranked number 2 in the state, he has a major decision over Isaac O'Neill. So you got that one rider advancing. And then we saw a thrilling 106-pound semifinal match between Will Rain of Indian River, Javon Saffold of Sussex Central, 2 former club teammates have wrestled. Him and Primo have not met this year. Primo of this final coming up, Scott.
Yeah, and I think Mike Primo is probably my slight favorite in the championship match. Will Rain with an upset victory over another freshman, Javon Saffold. I think I got Primo in this one, and I think it's going to be a really solid match. Primo last year maybe not quite as tough and dominant as this year, a little bit undersized, but this year he looks like he put on some muscle, put on some weight, and he looks like a man on the mission this year.
And then we'll move to 113 pounds. We've talked about him all year, the man on the mission, Robbie Rosser, 2 first-period pins in this tournament. And Yanni Morales pulls the big upset, pinning Kevin Bound out of Cesar Rodney. I think Morales has his hands full.
Let me tell you, though, Morales, when the opportunity arose, he slapped on the cradle and pinned the Cesar Rodney wrestler. So that kind of momentum, even if you're an underdog, you got momentum like that, maybe it can carry him, maybe it cannot. But I tell you what, we talked about it all year. Rosser wants his titles.
Absolutely.
Rosser wants his titles bad.
At 120 pounds, anticipated matchup. Last time they wrestled was in December. Cameron Hayes, 2-time defending state champ, went up against Anthony Caruso, defending state champ. Hayes pulls out the 5-2 victory. Little skirmish at the end, but everybody walked away safe. He's going up against Nick Natacola, who had the big win over Taekwon Joyner. Smyrna CR matchup here in the finals.
I'll tell you what I liked about Hayes. He got taken down right off the whistle and was down, and he the look on his face, he could care less.
Like it's happened before.
He came right back, and he came up with the 5-2 victory over another state champ. And Nather Kohler, this could be a marquee matchup. This could be the winner of this could be on their way to being have some votes for OW. What do you think of that, Benny?
Absolutely, I agree, absolutely. But then we go to 126. The hometown kid, Rashad Stratton, he has the 10-4 win over Sanders. Sebastianelli 7-2 over Foscue. It's going to be same weight class, same two guys. Sebastianelli, Stratton at 126.
And Stratton put it on him on Tuesday night. Stratton went hard after him, and that pin is what propelled them to victory. So Sebastianelli has a little bit of revenge on his mind. And watching him in the semifinals here, he looks like he wants to avenge that loss, Benny.
132 pounds. The anticipated matchup this season has been talked about all year. The freshman, Jackson Dean out of Cesar Rodney. He's going up against the returning state champ, Greg Baum out of Smyrna. They have not met this year. Tonight at 5 o'clock will be the first time.
Yeah, and Jackson Dean is not like many freshmen I've seen wrestle. He's good from all three positions. Final match against Max Norquist at Cape Henlopen. Didn't phase him in the least. I watched his face, no reaction.
Again, unflappable.
No flappable. And Greg Bonham is an absolute pinning machine. His cement mixer from every position is absolutely deadly. So the OW could come out of this matchup, Benny.
And then 138, Vinny Diego, Cape Henlopen. Cape Henlopen took their lumps here in the semifinals, but Vinny Diego got through with a fall over Gavin Garcia, and he's going up against Anthony Fisher, number 1 ranked in the state. But Diego owns Fisher.
Yeah, and Fisher is a stingy wrestler, does not give up a lot of points. We know this in the semifinal. He's got more tape on him than he does singlet material.
Right.
So he could be a little banged up, but we're looking for a great match out of that. And Fisher's a defending champion and a defending OW.
145 pounds tonight, the 2-time state champ, Cleveland State commit, Chase Arcangelo with a pin over Alex Cressy of Milford in the semis. And he had an exciting semifinal match. It was a rematch between Nick Lee of Dover and Zeke Bean of Cape Henlopen. Lee coming out 3-2. What do you expect in this final?
Chase is on the tear, and he's been wrestling really great this year. Nick Lee has his hands full, but he's a kid that's not going to shy away from the spotlight, and I see him going all out to try and take down Slay the Giant and Chase Arcangelo.
152 pounds. Nate Bryant got a first period pin, and we said it all year. You know, there's 2 Nate Bryants, and they seem to show up in a match. You know, you said so he has a great period, then a bad period, and it's all what he does in the next period. And he's going up against a guy that I think he better watch out. He better watch out. And Divine Watkins out of Dover.
And let me tell you, Watkins has a double like I had a long time. That kid, he had a freight train double leg. And Dante Jaquette is the all-time takedown leader at Cape Henlopen, and taken down
12. So that tells me Watkins has a tank. 16-12, he has a gas tank.
And that was a football score, Benny.
160 pounds. I'm willing to bet this is the last match of the night.
I'm hoping, because Corey Lawson, who was a state champ last year at 160, and Brandon Batista, who's the hottest wrestler in the state of Delaware, who was a state champion at 152 pounds.
And they're 1-1.
And they wrestled Tuesday night when it was all on the line, and Batista got the 1-point victory. So we're looking for a big match there.
Lawson got in with a pin in the semifinals over Jordan James of Woodbridge. And Brandon Batista, like you said, he's hot. Avery Mahan has beat him 3 times this season. Not today, not in his gym. Batista makes it to the finals in a 5-4 decision. 170 pounds. If Batista's the hottest, Blake Chambers is right behind him. Early season ankle injuries, come back and has not lost since he's returned from the. He beat the defending state runner-up Logan Montgomery. Beat him handily from Slays-Anham. But he's going up against the defending state champ and maybe one of the funkiest wrestlers in the conference, Larson Wilson, who had the quick pin over Chris Hanlon.
Yeah, and speaking of hot, like you said, Blake Chambers started out the state duels with a victory and then ended the state championship, sealed the victory for him over Wilson's brother, Mason Wilson. So we're going to see a great match. I'll tell you one thing about Larson, don't ever count that kid out.
No, absolutely.
Don't ever count him out.
He won his state title last year in overtime. Logan Montgomery goes behind. Wilson doesn't stop wrestling. He has a standing Peterson for a state title. 182, maybe one of the quietest guys in the state. Zeke Marcosi. But watch out, this kid's explosive. He got Vincent Tassione of Polytech, and he's going up against Lucas Hudson of Sussex Central with a 3-2 win over Moyer. And these two are 1-1. They're inter-district rivals.
Yeah, so Zeke Marcosi has had a really good career, and he's hoping to cap it off with a Henlopen Conference and a state title here, and he's hoping this is a springboard. He's been tearing through the opponents. He beat the number 1 ranked guy in the state of Delaware, Austin Clayton, in the state duels. Lucas Hudson's a super strong kid. He has Moyer's number. He's beat him 3 times now, all by razor-thin margins. So this is an interesting matchup. This will be the 3rd time they wrestled, and this will be the rubber match because Hudson beat him once and Marquez beat him once, right?
Robbie Van Pelt, congratulations from Sussex Tech. You are in the Henlopen Conference Finals, and for all your work, you get Ronnie Wiest, the pinning machine. Ronnie Wiest out of Smyrna. Van Pelt with the pin over Malumi, like you said, just out of a Peterson turned in and pinned him. Great win for Van Pelt. I could be wrong, but I see this going Wiest way and probably with a pin.
Yeah, and Wiest is pinning nationally ranked guys at a rapid pace. So would you say Van Pelt with a victory is OW?
Oh, absolutely. OW and a lifetime of gift certificates at Odell Concept Restaurant. One round, the match we expected. Johnny Morris from Sussex Central against Dominique Hovington of Milford. They have, I think, 2 or 3 meetings. Morris has won all of them, but that doesn't mean anything tonight because we already saw Bautista turn one around.
Yeah, and to me, Hovington's a sleeker, slimmer model. He was previously in the year. He looked side. I'm looking forward to that matchup. As we all know, Johnny Morris, one of my favorite wrestlers. Really tough, strong kid that turns on at the right time. This will be their 3rd matchup, I believe, this year. So I'm excited to see this one. And the winner of this comes out as the favorite against Keith Medley from Caravel next weekend in the state finals.
Right. And finally, 285 pounds, Zach Flores. He was a JV wrestler a year ago, or all his life. And Brian Wines, he's been a career starter at Milford, and Wines every year is, always picked to be the top guy. He hasn't done it yet, and he doesn't have to do it tonight, but he just hasn't figured Flores out yet. And we'll see. He should go to a no-touch, low single attack.
Yeah, and Wines isn't the only one that hasn't figured Flores out. Flores has a ton of victories this year, and he's worked hard, and this is his moment. So I'm praying, and Wines has to try and make an adjustment. So maybe between now and the finals, he can make some adjustments to figure Flores out.
So join us back tonight, folks. Check in around 4:30 on the 302 YouTube, 302 Sports YouTube channel. We will post up some links on the 302 Facebook. I'll get on D perhaps to make sure we link it up to make sure you have the link to go to. It's going to be a barn burner tonight. Thanks, Scott Cameron, Kristen Mitchell Cameron, and Corey Messick, and Jeff Stevenson for getting me set up here, or us get set up here today. Nick Hadley back at the studios. And folks, coming up, 4:30, 5 o'clock, we'll have a pre-match show with Phil Schulte, the outgoing coach at Sussex Central. Till tonight, folks, have a good afternoon.